If I wanted to hear from an insanely seasoned marketing pro, it's a marketing director right now of a dealer group. He's worked at the manufacturer side. He's worked on the vendor side. Now he's working with a dealer group and doing some pretty innovative things with AI and has a good head on his shoulders for some creative ideas to really sell vehicles. I would listen to this conversation if I were you. This is Jarrod Kilway. I'm Andrew Street. This is Word on the Street. Enjoy this conversation.
Did you see the news about Nissan?
No. Is it today?
Yeah, about an hour ago. They are going to roll out their first plug-in hybrid here in Q4. So
okay.
It's interesting to see them kind of pivot change. They were all in on EV with the Leaf and the Aria. Now they're going back. Now they're doing plug-ins. As we were saying,
well, everybody's probably looking at Toyota's success with the lineup of hybrids that they've got and like, okay, let's do that too. It's like when,
5 years too late.
Yeah, it's like when an NFL team sees Michael Vick, they're like, we need one of those guys. So they all tried to replicate him for a while.
No, it'll be interesting to kind of see that of like who's next? Who's next going to pivot and kind of run that same angle?
Well, Toyota announced the 1,000-mile solid-state battery sometime in the last week.
Yep.
I don't know if it's going to actually hit the market, but sounds cool.
Hey,
1,000 miles is a lot of miles.
I would say that's insane. If you think about it, man, that's a really crazy statement of 1,000-mile solid state battery. How do you do with it? And then what's the fire risk behind it? Because
totally, that's what I was thinking. Like, is it even more fire? Is it 3 times as much fire as your 300-mile?
Does it
battery?
Just smoke or does it just explode?
Are you working with Nissan stores?
I have two.
Yeah, Nissan?
I have two. Mm-hmm.
How are they doing?
Nissan's great. They're in a growth mode from an OEM perspective, but they're really great to work with.
Yeah.
They're just trying to figure out what's the next 5 years look like, and how can they best assist us as dealers. And I think they're moving in the right direction. There's still a lot to grow and learn, but I think they genuinely care and they want to succeed, and they're really good at communicating. So I'm actually going to be with them next week at dealer meeting in Vegas. So
cool. Yeah, I'm a believer in the brand, and same with CDJR. They've made some moves lately to get kind of back to their roots and away from the $90,000 Ram and EVs and kind of hit the Hemis.
Yeah, and then it's like you're switching to the Challengers to a 6-cylinder. Like that's not what the Challenger buyer wants. They want that raw, unfiltered V8.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're buying that car for. I mean, you go back and look at 2003, 2004, 2005, really, for the Stellantis brand. And they were hurting from like 99 to 05. They're hurting pretty bad. Cars breaking down all the time. Just the 2.7 sludge motors. I mean, it was a tough time for them. But then you look, it's like, okay, 05, they came out with a new version of the 300. They came out with the Charger in 06. They put the V8 in it. They won the people back. Then they came out with the Wrangler 4-door in 2007, what people have been asking for forever, and just a whole new Caravan and Town and Country van, but people were asking for with newer tech and features, and they rebounded extremely well because they went back to their roots of who they are as a brand, as a core. Stop trying to be everybody else and focus on being what your buyers lean on you for. And I think that's a great business lesson, not even just for for them, just for everybody. Like, don't worry about what Joe Blow Ford dealers doing down the street. Focus on your core, your culture, and who you are and your customers.
Yeah.
And you'll succeed.
Yeah. Focus on your customers more than your competitors, the competitive brands. Easier said than done sometimes. But it's like Nissan. I remember in high school, Nissan was the coolest. Like if there's any car I probably could get and I had any choice in high school, I would have gotten a Maxima because it's the 4-door race car.
Right.
And then they had nailed it with the Xterra. And now they're kind of like looking for that next, placement to get back in front of us.
So, yeah, no, I'm excited to see what some of these manufacturers' 5-year rollout's going to be in terms of brand and the tech, and are they going to go back to basics and back to the roots? That's been proven to be successful.
Yeah. Well, something that, hey, when we talked last week, you mentioned something that I think is super interesting. I brought up with a couple other people, and it's training GPT-based agents to be able to filter and pull data from your DMS for your stores. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience, about setting it up and what dealers are able to pull up?
Yeah, I mean, I think, AI, and if you want to know about AI, just turn on the stock market watch right now and just watch AI stocks exploding where everybody else is kind of status quo. But for me, it's the application to solve not inefficiencies, but how can I save my GM's time? How can I save owners' time? How can we do these things with it? So it's incorporating AI agents into integrations to pull data. So example, I want to grow fixed ops by 15% between now and end of year. Where are my opportunities? Where are my zip codes that people have service but have not service? Where's my declines? Op codes coming from? Is it specific location, whatnot? And then it comes down to utilizing all of this data from a marketing perspective, an outreach perspective, and an overall awareness. But you could sit there and have this do thousands of different things based upon your need. Oh, I need to sell 15 new Sentras between now and end of month. Where is the highest probability to sell a Sentra into in El Paso, New Mexico? What city? What demographic? Based upon our historical sold data, not based upon anything else other than our transactional data of who is buying this car from us. So for me, it's really exciting because it can kind of guide our marketing spend and our marketing dollars to be more effective and efficient. Am I going to miss some because I target a specific? Absolutely. But if I know I'm batting 70% on a right-handed pitcher and the same guy's batting 10% on a left-handed pitcher, don't you think it's time to put it a pinch hitter to be effective and efficient? It's the same logic.
Yeah. So are you like empowering the GMs to be able to pull this information themselves? Like, are they actually logging in, pulling up?
That's 2.0 version. I'm building transactional prompts for them right now. So I've got it integrated, and I'm starting to work on different prompts of different questions that we get quite frequently, so that it's pulling the right information, so they can have a library of 20, 30 different prompts they may need to see and pull. And then I'm going to start turning it loose to them here next year.
So what are some so they could pull up these audiences, potentially export the list to hand off to salespeople, BDC, upload into social for targeting.
It'll do it automatically.
OTT.
That does it automatically. So that's where it becomes fun. It's like, I want a marketing campaign for service for my Ford mobile service van, people who have service but are outside a 10-mile radius, inside a 40-mile radius, that live in this zip code. and I want to send a message to them to target because I already have a scheduled mobile service appointment, but it's only one. I want 5. I can rip that audience and deploy a campaign right then and there the previous week. Rather than, to your point, uploading, taking a list, ripping a list, uploading a list, I can make the data actionable in live time through the GPT agents.
And the GPT will create the message, do the outreach.
It'll do everything, and then it's just a call to the agency. Hey, review. Here's the audience. Here's the campaign structure. Here's the spend. I need you guys just to review, make sure everything T's crossed, I's dotted, compliance for the manufacturer, execute.
With a cool, dude, there's like such a good metric on like what is our retention rate for customers, and if it's 30%, just to know it, and what can we do to really employ our CDP and our DMS and these things that we have access to be able to really leverage our own database and make our messaging more relevant to our customers. And if there's people like you that can help grease the skids to generate those messages and get them to people when it's timely for the dealer, like when it's timely because the dealer has capacity in the service department or with the mobile service, or because they have a lot of a specific vehicle and inventory and they need to push it here by the end of the month, to have that surface those ideas quickly is just amazing. Like, are you finding ways to like have, whether it's the general manager or just you in the marketing role, to come up with ideas for the dealer that wouldn't have come up easily without using AI?
It started about a year ago, actually, and where we're at in, West Texas, New Mexico, and now Arizona is, our Kia location in El Paso. Think El Paso, you don't think EVs, right? So, it's an oil town. You're right there from Midland, Odessa. It's you would never think EV when you think El Paso. So doing research, and this is before all the agents were even set up and running. I looked at historical sales data and talking to Junior, the GM, and Mike, our marketing director. We had to find a way. We had to find a way to do it. So came up with consumer sentiment analysis of EVs in said market. So we started ripping all this data from Dealer Radar, Reddit, and it parses all this data, and it's a lot of people like, I've never driven one. I don't know how it feels. So trying to sell something that somebody's never driven before, it's hard. I mean, that's hard. That's extremely, extremely difficult. So at that point, we knew we had to get butts and seats. We had to get people behind the wheel to get that experience. So we launched our take-home test drive campaign for EVs. So never driven one before, want to drive one, want to see what it's like? Sure, come by the store, come take it for the day. It'll be fully charged. You don't have to worry about recharging. Come take the car for the day. The only thing that we're going to ask you at the end of this, when you do bring it back, is 5 questions to let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what were your concerns, how the drive was, etc. So we're gathering intel, we're gathering data, so that we can be more effective and efficient to the new EV customers who have never driven one, that are now driving one. Now I know how to market to them. Now I know what the concerns are and what they like the most. And we were able to really put that in motion and succeed with it. I mean, they're doing
How'd you get that message out, inviting specific people or inviting just the public to come in and take a vehicle home?
Yeah, so the medium of delivery was OTT, paid social, as well as de-anonymization targeting through the M1 Pixel. We were able to target that, but it really also on a geolocation basis of charging locations. So we looked at charging locations, where are chargers to, and then highlighting people who, excluding the people who already own one, but we know a EV charging station's close to them, so that range anxiety becomes something of the past, because we can say, oh, there's one 3 miles down the road from you. You're all set. You're good to go. So what we found was People loved it. They wanted to drive it. They were just never given that opportunity. So when you get them behind it, driving it, they really started like, oh, this is cool. This has actually got a lot of power and all this amazing technology. And people still really started embracing and adopting that. And, that Kia store in El Paso became one of the top ones in the district, in the state, for EVs, competing with, stores near you there, Austin area, that's EVs thriving. El Paso's getting their fair share of market set because we're introducing EV as a shopping behavior and removing all friction.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stores that I've worked with that are in other markets, or they're especially like in rural areas, are like, don't even like when I bring up EV, like I'll talk with like Trent Cannon, who connect the dots with you and I, is like, talk about Mach-E leasing and things like that. And then I'll bring it up with dealers like, hey, let's go out in front of people and educate them about the limited time remaining on the EV tax credit, how much money they're going to be able to save, and OEM incentives with the 0% finance. And they're like, stop talking about EVs. We don't sell them. Yeah. We sell one a quarter at the highest like clip. Like we're trying not to take EVs from the manufacturer. Like, and if there's a way for us to tap into their market, because they've got like, this is somebody I was talking to in San Antonio. They've got a few million people for us to be able to try this out with.
Yeah.
And if it's like, get the general manager on board, they already have the inventory. And if we can get somebody into a test drive and go home with it and get some feedback, that could be a way to tap into a new. Did you find like a type of audience? So close to an EV supercharging station or whatever. And
initially, but it changed. That was the weird part. Initially we started seeing people who had superchargers close to them, but it evolved and it cast a wider net as there became more on the road. But it came down to people who look at cars as transportation, people who, income ranges of A to B, age demographics, everything. We were able to identify that specific market set to it. That's the highest propensity to buy, or at least come in and drive it. And now we're seeing a change as there's more on the road, more coming out there, more EVs are out there, more and more people are to it. But the funny thing behind this entire exercise is this is EVs. Yes. Why are we not doing this for ICE? Why are we not doing this for our, bread and butter that we're doing every single day? Why would we not invite the customer in? Hey, I'm looking at F-150. Great. Have you driven one before? No. Hey, come pick one up. Take it for the day. Why are we not giving that experience to those customers?
We've done, like, I've had some success with that in the past. And it's not just like, in my experience, like what we found is like not just broadcasting that to everybody who wants to get a free car for a day, but to just, let's hold on to just targeting people who've maybe bought a vehicle from us in the past, or they've come by and at least looked at our vehicle detail pages in the last month. And let's get people who are shopping that could turn into a potential customer and get them to drive the vehicle, or tag the person below that you want to take on you, take with you, and you take this car on a test drive. And then the dealer can be a little bit more, hopefully, selective, and that person's probably more qualified when they come in to transition into a customer. It's the hope.
Yeah, but we don't, as an industry, I don't know anybody currently that's offering that option. Hey, you want to buy one? No problem. You're a lead. You want to come take one for the day? Come by and grab one. Sure.
Yeah.
No question.
It's easy for us to hit the easy button as marketers and be like, here's the incentives. Go. And here's inventory, here's prices, automate, and not think about what's the message and what would actually compel somebody to want to choose us over anybody else.
Well, and that's where I see the evolution changing for the industry, being that hospitality centric focused, and the ones that are the most hospitable, both on sales and service, at the end of the day, they're going to win, because every single day, you and I included, are guilty of spending more on a product than it is somewhere else. We do it every day. We don't talk about it every day because the experience we received exceeded the other one with the lowest price.
Right.
But we don't talk about that as well. You look at the Chick-fil-A versus McDonald's. You know what you're going to get no matter which Chick-fil-A you go to. Consistency of the food, the taste of the food, everything's consistent. The experience is consistent, then everybody's going to say, my pleasure. You don't know what you're going to get at McDonald's when you go through that line. Everything's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be a chicken sandwich is a chicken sandwich. You're going to end up paying $1.50, $2 less McDonald's to Chick-fil-A. But we pay more for consistency and hospitality, and at the end of the day, experience. So how do we incorporate that into setting ourselves apart as dealerships and branding this to making the customers aware of, here's all the value adds, here's all the benefits, and here's what we offer.
Yeah, dude, I like to think that there's a way when everybody just doing, just on social, like automotive inventory ads, just carousels of your inventory of stock images with prices. We're really commoditizing the dealership as they have cars, and here's how much they cost, and get ready to negotiate on that price, versus having a little bit of effort to getting somebody like somebody with a little charm or charisma to show the cool features in this EV or show the new sweet features in the 2026 versus this old broke model that you're driving, and then target people who are driving those vehicles. And here's the difference. Here's why you need to step up to the 2026. It's because it has these cool features, the, lane departure, or whatever, have the reclining seats, the ventilated seats now, and these little tiny features that dealership can, every other dealership that has that inventory has those same features, but we're the dealership that's taking credit for these cool features and products that the manufacturer is coming out with, and setting us apart to where now we have video assets and cool things that resonate with customers more than just cars and price.
Yeah.
So you talked about basically like an Ask Jeeves version of GPT into a dealer's DMS.
Well, it's DMS, but it's also CRM. I mean, you can load anything to it. I mean, it's not just DMS data. You can pull CRM data. You can incorporate your AdWords data, your Meta Business Manager data, your analytics, everything. And you, in essence,
your accounting, you can put your P&L statements in there and get a quick diagnosis of red flags and areas of opportunity.
Finance, what's your contract in transits? I mean, broken down by line. I mean, it's endless of what you can do with it on an operational element. It's going to come down to, what do we do with the data outcome? How do we train the team to take precedence of what's important, what's urgent, and acting on urgent, and then working through important, items that are come out from, the AI agent. So it's not just the easy bake oven, set it, forget it, look at all this, and this is going to change your dealership overnight, because we have to change the awareness of the end user who's going to be made aware of a problem or an opportunity and put it in motion.
And okay, so that makes me think like I think it's like lower hanging fruit for dealers to start using platforms to quickly respond to or use AI to quickly respond to leads, to potentially like facilitate a conversation with a customer that might be a little bit more informed than an entry-level salesperson. Are you seeing some success in like empowering a BDC, or in times like replacing people in the BDC?
Yeah. We're using it, and it's not a replacement. We'll never be able to replace the human side or element of the operation, but what it provides efficiency to is the redundancies and mundane tasks of follow-up. It's day 31. There's an active lead from 31 days ago. Call, text, email. It's like he's never engaged with us. He's never talked to us. Is that human capital investment of that time to do that task worth it? I would say no. Utilize AI to do that as well. So it's using AI to incorporate initial contact and then longer-term follow-up, and having the people who know the cars, know the process, know the operation, having them jump in when contact is made, and really using AI as that facilitator for awareness and engagement, and then having the store be really effective and efficient with that opportunity presented to them that, hey, this customer responded. They're interested in finding out what their car is worth before they agree to come down to the store. Perfect. It's just a TO right there. It's just in the digital format.
What do you feel like is like the easiest way for a dealer who's not really leveraging any of this stuff yet to get started?
Test it, break it, figure out what's the sentiment of your team if you mention it. So mention your Saturday morning meeting. Ask everybody, hey, what's your thoughts on AI? We're looking at maybe adding an AI solution. What's everybody's thoughts? Take the temperature of the team before you just add. Because if you don't have the temperament to be able to handle it, you're going to have a lot of revolting and pushback. It's like, oh, the AI said something wrong to the customer. That's going to happen. But we don't go posterize the BDC or sales rep who completely butchers the conversation too. We don't talk about those instances, but it's learn from it and let it learn from us to make it even better as we continue to grow and train those language models for your operation as a store.
What's cool about this, I feel like it's not reaching deep into the dealer's pockets to sign up for shiny vendor products at this point. Like, you're not talking about anything with vendors. It's about the dealership being able to use tools themselves.
Well, and it's because the consumers are already using them. And you know this from the marketing side of things. And, I was just pulling some stuff up earlier today. One of my favorite daily, morning coffee breaks is reading through search engine land. What the heck is going on there? And something I've been studying now for about 3 months, and now it's starting to even get better visibility. It's the zero-click search.
Right.
So as more and more consumers are utilizing AI themselves, we have to be open to utilizing AI to help answer basic, simple questions, give an answer, and get them engaged to a point to turn to a live human at the store to take it to the next step of providing them a video walk around, giving them options. Do they want to come in and drive it, or do they want us to bring them the car? Do they want to do the deal remote? And giving the consumer the options to pursue the deal the way they want. And when we do that, we're finding 35 to 40% more engagement versus, oh, you got to come in to get the best deal, or you have to bring your car here to get the best offer. Just ask them what they want to do. I mean, if we look at the top business from a sales model right now, look at Amazon, look at Apple, look at these, go look at Target even. I mean, they've mastered it. It's how do you want to buy? Do you want it delivered? And how fast? Or, hey, do you want to not deliver this from Target, but you just want to pull in the parking lot and punch a 6-digit code and somebody brings it out to you? That's an option now too. So other businesses have already incorporated the logic I'm talking about for that consumer behavior, but we haven't.
Yeah. I mean, there's some dealers who are. They're seldomly advertising it though, but there's a hungry salesperson that'd be willing to drive a couple of hours to bring somebody a vehicle, having prearranged the trade-in and handle the deal right there at the customer's kitchen table and drive off in their old vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasant experience for the customer.
Yeah. But is it presented 100%? How many opportunities do you have every month that don't know that exists? And that's where the marketing, rather than we talk about, 18,000 off MSRP on 2025 model vehicle. If we just educated them on, hey, do you know you could buy a car from your living room? You know you can just go ahead and do everything and then just come to the store and everything's done? Or we'll even bring it to you. Like, I think more people be like open to that. Like, oh, that's like kind of like that used car company, Carvana. They're, oh wow, our local stores doing similar process to them.
Right, with new cars. And like, I don't know, like I've been working with some of the dealerships around me is like just interviewing their staff to hear about like what's the most enjoyable experience you had selling a car. How'd the customer feel? How did they react? What's the coolest feature? And some of this stuff to get cool content, but also a lot of the staff will start talking about the philanthropic stuff that they do, how they love the work environment, how many people work there that live in the community. And it's a way I like to think from the advertising side that we can talk about all these philanthropic things that they're doing to raise money for charities and with the schools and with backpacks for kids without the dealer just taking credit for it. It's their staff talking about how cool it is that they're part of it and how that makes them enjoy their job more. And we can use that for recruiting. We can use that just as branding, not to jump through and fill up my credit app this second, but here's why we go to this local dealership versus a Tesla or Carvana, because this is your community and here's what they do for our community.
100%. And we're at Casa, we're blessed to have Mike, our marketing director. He's great with that. I mean, he exceeds with the community. He knows the community there in El Paso, New Mexico, and he's very well connected. And we've got him doing, and him and his team are doing it every month now, and it's a Que Pasa Casa, and it's just highlights from the previous month, and it's on YouTube, it's on our social channels for every store, and we've included this into email campaigns that's just going out to everybody who's bought or serviced a car. It's not a marketing message, it's just, hey, here's kind of like the old school newsletters, but it's in video format of, hey, this is what's going around at Casa. We were in this golf tournament. We did this for Make-A-Wish. We just sponsored this local athlete or whatever it may be for this month. They're very involved with the military base and the big give they just did a couple weeks ago. And it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of just real authentic hospitality. But it's the community. It's just serving the community. And to your point, that's something a lot of I think dealers are missing out on. They do a lot, but they don't talk about it. So
it's hard. It's delicate. It's not like that's not why we're doing it. We're not doing it for the advertising or the marketing necessarily. We're doing it because it's our community and we have a budget for it. And we've identified these few things that are meaningful to us and to our community. I don't want to advertise it. But if there's a tasteful way that me as the advertiser can tap into somebody else talking about it, about why they love it, I feel comfortable advertising that now.
Mm-hmm. It's just the awareness.
Yeah.
And even if it's just to your audience that have bought and serviced with you, just keeping them aware of it.
Yeah, knowing what they're part of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you? Okay, can we talk about VC stuff for a minute?
Yeah, VC stuff.
Yeah, dude, I think it's interesting.
Radio a couple of times.
Yeah, you've been on all sides of the desk, vendor side, dealer side, and you've got. Yeah, where's the grass the greenest?
Where you're happy. You know, it comes down to being happy. You know, I've been on the vendor side and had a lot of fun, and it's always fun building stuff.
Yeah,
and building stuff and seeing results for it. But then, you know, it's also fun to see where I'm at now with Casa, the part of the day to day, and seeing where the struggles are and what pieces can be fixed with different technical elements that maybe dealers are never exposed to. The OEM side is a blast because you can kind of see the trend line in the future of 5 years. It's not next month future, it's 5-year future. And you can kind of see what the path is that the OEMs are starting to go down, like we talked about earlier with Nissan. So, I mean, I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite. It's just being happy. I mean, because OEM was fun, but as long as you don't mind living out of a suitcase, you'll enjoy it. If you had a family, it's hard. Been there, done it. Check that box. You know, it was a lot of fun, but the travel is extensive. The vendor side is very similar. You're managing different time zones, which is always fun. You know, you got clients in, you know, for you, if you had a client in Hawaii, 6-hour time difference, 5-hour time difference. I mean, that can be difficult to ensure that client's getting the attention they need because of the time change. So it becomes an additional obstacle. So you may not be living out of a suitcase, but you also might be working 16, 18 hours a day to accommodate that client too. And then it's, you know, the dealer side. It's, as I mentioned, you have your day-to-day struggles, your day-to-day challenges, trying to move a cruise ship and drive it like a speedboat. And it changes every single month, and trying to figure out what's next, what's coming. But for me, it's just trying to focus on those 3 or 4 really important things for a quarter to get executed, and then operate daily with the day-to-day basic blocking, tackling.
I find it healthy to like zoom out and look at it quarterly. Like, it's something that I feel like we don't do is with a lot of dealerships, is look at it on a larger basis than like, hey, here's the incentives, let's crush some leads. The leads suck. Are you guys, you know, like this game of trying to transact today is important, and we got to continually put urgency out there for customers to know that now's the time to buy, and here's why, while being able to say like, hey, here's a long-term play. It's not going to generate leads or you know, credit apps today, but here's this thing I want to do to educate consumers around the dealership and start to get them into the top of the funnel and get the dealer to buy in too and say, yes, that's important. I can see why that's important. And let's not put all of my budget into it whatsoever, but I'll put some in there.
Let's test it. Test, experiment, break, rebuild. I mean, that's the cyclical behavior of any effective operator, and lasering into those 3 things. I mean, you look at what Elon has created within Tesla in the time frame he has. It's, to your point, he's focusing on his 3 or 4 or 5 items each quarter, and he is just making sure those are being executed. There's a lot of noise and this, and well, what if we did this? So what if we did that? Great, let's put this down for the next quarter planning. But right now, these are the 5 that we have to execute. Now, if one of these is more important than one of these, we need to sit there and vote on it and ensure we can meet deadline. Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of business operation that, you know, I think we all should be leaning in a little bit more towards, rather than looking at it from a, you know, 30-day cyclical element. We need to start looking at it from a quarterly or, you know, semi-annual component. Like if you're not working right now in middle of August, if you're not working on your budget and marketing plan for 2026, you're already behind some of the bigger ones in the space. At least building your budget out from a rough blueprint so that you, during your Q3 recap or Q4 planning, you can sit there and have everything line item done for 2026. Whereas a lot of people are like, what are we going to do in September? And it just shows the vast differences between a lot of the stores that are in operation today.
And I like to think somebody like you, Jarrod, that has a formative experience with manufacturer, with vendors, and at the dealerships, like to be able to have seen a lot of things that worked well and start to build out just like an arsenal of ammunition based on what the dealership needs and things that are down in the future and cool new tech and platforms and stuff. But like, okay, this dealership is having trouble with recruiting. Here, they're always needing techs, and they have, here's some things that I can do from the marketing end to help stimulate more job applications. Or you guys have a lot of Spanish buyers. Here's a way that I think we can unlock WhatsApp and start driving conversations through WhatsApp. Can you guys handle the conversations? Okay, you can't. Here's a substitution for the BDC right now until you guys are equipped that we're going to use this, nearshore BDC that uses, things like this from your end that you can see all the profit centers at the dealership and what you can do from your end to help from a remote location in Florida, and dealerships are in Texas and Mexico, and be effective for the stores. From the vendor side, like, what do you feel like is overhyped right now versus actually delivering?
Shoot, I mean, it's so, I just see it changing really from the vendor side. I just see a lot of growth and change, and a lot of companies that have been very successful inside automotive that are bigger ones that are slower to change. The fear is because of new technology, new ways of operating, AI, etc. If they don't pivot quickly, they may be caught behind the times very, very quickly. And new technology and dealer and manager at dealerships willingness to evolve, they might not be able to keep up with that evolution and kind of get lost. Which, if we look back and rewind the tape on the industry, this isn't the first time we've been through this. I'm going to age myself here very quickly, and we can have a good chuckle. But do you remember when CRMs were server-based? Do you remember Autobase as a CRM back? We're talking late 90s, early 2000s. And web-based CRMs came out. They stayed true to that line. And now everybody started migrating towards web-based. I haven't heard the name Autobase. I don't know if they're still around. But you think of that evolved, and they never evolved to keep up with the evolution. Same thing with AAX. AAX was one of the industry pioneers from an inventory management system with used car pricing and evaluations and everything. They were there, and then all of a sudden it was like poof, they were gone one day. So we've seen where we're at right now inside the automotive sector. I just see now opportunity for some newer companies to come in and be extremely disruptive if some of these legacy companies don't start evolving very quickly.
What innovations do you what are really attractive on the vendor side for you? Like
integrations are key. I mean, because what we've talked about with my GPT agents, yes, I can do it, but 95% of dealers probably don't have somebody who can go run an API piping to an agent from their systems. It's when does a smart CRM or DMS or inventory management company come out with that pre-built element that, hey, if you're running an AI agent, click here and you can build the integration yourself that's a one-way API from this host to your end destination and build upon it. So they make it easier for the everyday used car manager to go build an assessment of how his vehicles perform with a clean Carfax versus a Carfax with an accident indicator based upon profitability and days to sale. That could be something that could be piped in very quickly to a GPT agent to assess that data and be able to give that used car manager better direction on a strategy for cars that do have a bad Carfax. But we need tools to open that connection, because right now they're just going to an inventory management tool, exporting data and uploading it to a Bard or a Gemini or a ChatGPT and using it that way. But in process, they potentially exposing extremely valuable data to outside network, whereas you have your own agent and now your data is secure.
How much heavy lifting was it for you to set up these agents with your stores?
It was
and
about,
YouTube and
no, I knew the integration side with API construction, so that to me was very, it wasn't too difficult. It was just then setting up the right queries and the right prompts and measuring the results that return. A lot of coffee, a lot of espresso.
There we go.
Some
and were you doing
some bourbon breaks in between, but
and it's different. I imagine these are different CRMs, different DMSs that you guys have, or are they all the same?
No, we're all on one. So that was one of my biggest things coming into Casa here year and a half ago, was helping align the tech stack, because it was a little bit all over the place. But now we are commonly aligned DMS, CRM, scheduler, everything. So we have that similarity tech stack. Not only is it helpful for me, it makes my job a lot easier, but it's also at the health of the company, so that if I have somebody who's at a store in El Paso, that wife takes a job offer in Arizona, if he wants to stay, I can place him at one of the stores in Arizona in a role there and just transfer between the two stores for Techion and CRM with Vin. And it's a commonality in terms of that. So it's not a whole new learning curve from a tech standpoint. He knows what he's doing day in, day out. He's ready to hit the day one running after going through that process manual at that store, how they may tweak, adjust things a little differently.
Yeah. And well, here's the first time that you came across my radar, Jarrod, is when you hit the headlines selling the first vehicle with Jermaine through Metaverse. What was that experience like?
Painful.
And maybe did anybody else sell a vehicle through Metaverse?
I haven't heard of anything else. No, it
could be the first and only.
I remember it was like we were playing around with it. I mean, this was COVID times. Everything was changing. We were sitting there, had the goggles on, and with Brian Kramer and having fun. And he's like, "We need to look into this. We can sell a car in here. I mean, there's people that are in these goggles in VR day in, day out, that are in Decentraland and all these different properties inside of the Metaverse." And we're like, build a dealership in here. Okay, let's play with it. And we learned quick there's a lot of people that are overseas playing in there, and they're coming to the instance and trying to ask questions, and we didn't have anybody operating, which helped further my discovery of AI even further and go real deep down the rabbit hole for AI. But it fast forwarded our journey that we were also going on simultaneously, which was to be completely paperless transaction. So we wanted to go zero paper, and I still have it. I will always have it, and it's literally, and I know that even these are outdated now, but it's the USB, the old USB cards, and it's the old flash drive that you plug into your computer with all your paperwork. Like you were literally handed, sign here on this iPad, here's your paperwork. And I still don't forget it, but the Metaverse was fun. We had a couple of deals go through it, but we were able to figure out all the connection points between CRM, DMS, menu presentation for finance to doc signing to everything. And we were able to stitch it all together to become paperless. So if a consumer wanted to buy a car remote, we could sell the car remote. No questions asked. We could handle it. We could execute it with no problem. Which to me was extremely cool.
Totally. And it got cool publicity too for Jermaine, for you.
Oh, Kramer was he was loving it. We were living it and loving it. It was awesome.
What's the next Metaverse? What's the next? Actually, it wasn't as disruptive as maybe people might have thought. But do you see something else as a cool big disruption coming up?
The one thing is the zero click search, and what relevance that's going to affect on overall website traffic, lead generation, and how set up are you for your website to be set up with your schema on your site to be relevant in zero click search. I think that's going to be crazy. So I've been playing a lot with that right now. It's like, okay, how do I measure my index, our store versus this store? If I'm a consumer side of it, how in the AI results am I being perceived versus they're being perceived in this set community? And it's very interesting because each zip code and each geo search location can provide a different result. So it's really going to be exposing the strength of your website's SEO, but also old things that I thought were going to be dinosaurs and become extinct and irrelevant are now relevant again. Dealer Rater's one of them, and I'm like, why would I pay for this? Why would I do it? Because it's an open.
Can you put more short form content into Dealer Rater and start to have your dealership get prioritized with the?
We don't have to. The consumers do it. So it's looking at online reputation. Facebook and Meta are MFA prioritized, so it cannot be crawled by the AI agent for the results. But Dealer Rater's open, so it's being indexed. So now, from a consumer sentiment, using zero click and using AI search, that is becoming even more relevant now. And it's like, we haven't used this for years. Maybe we need to look back at this. Better Business Bureau is another one. We're really dialed in with Casa, but a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not reviewing it. I'm not going to reply to anything. I'm just going to take care of it. It's open source, so it's not. It can be indexed by the AI. And you might have some old stuff in there. And this is where I've talked to some of the managers on. It's like, yes, it may not be relative or relevant because this is 3-5 years ago. That salesperson doesn't work there, but AI doesn't care. This is what's going to display to the consumer in the AI search. So how can we generate more content to these? And is this now becoming more important than your Google My Business and Facebook reviews? I don't know, because we don't have measurement data to it, but I will say it's something we all need to be paying attention to.
Right. It's like if the future doesn't have these blue links in Google,
100%.
People aren't using those as much. Like, that's a lot of budget for dealers to not be putting into paid search. How can we have our presence optimized to be pulled when there's these queries about where to get a good deal on a Altima in my market?
Well, it's funny you say that. how many people, and I'm not a big user, but I've been studying more, with Reddit. I thought Reddit was just the new Yelp, but there's like groups and forums that are talking about pricing.
Mhm.
There's salespeople that put, pricing and presentations and, pencils up in Reddit for other potential customers' awareness. And that is all things that can be indexed. So it's like, what's the best lease deal on a Toyota Tacoma? It's not going to always pull the dealers or the manufacturers. It could be pull what Johnny got from his local Toyota store that was below map 2 weeks ago. And it's not a violation of ours, but it's our name on it, and it's a below map deal because it was a one-to-one customer interaction, but it's being picked up by AI and serving as a potential option for a consumer to explore. But it's what's the consumer trust factor of the Reddit, the Better Business Bureau, the Dealer Rater. Those are some of the unknowns, but we just don't know. So for me, the AI search and AI indexing is going to be extremely important here, I think, in the next 3 months, but 5 years. And the other one is voice search. Voice search is going to be big. I mean, you look at every car, Andrew, every car has Amazon pretty much built into it now. If you have Apple CarPlay or Google CarPlay, most likely you have Amazon Alexa built into it also.
What do you feel like a dealer can do? What can a dealership do right now? Like some easy, like a simple action that a dealer can take to get ahead.
Review your website, clean up your GTM containers, see who's all still has access to your website traffic and data and analytics, and clean it up and build it to be effective, efficient on mobile first. We've talked about mobile first for 15 years, but clean it up, remove the excess, make it a better experience on mobile, focus on mobile, and then from there start tweaking, adjusting a little bit on your schema of your site with your agency or marketing, team or department to make sure you are showing up relevancy in zero search, and then test, break stuff.
I feel like that's like an issue that plagues every single dealership that I look at. Like you can just get like a GTM, a pixel helper that'll show you all the different tags that are on a dealership's website. And there's always dozens that are not being used, which break things like the tracking, and it makes it tough for like Meta to be able to see true form fills and form completions and people that abandon the credit app for targeting and for attribution. But the big thing that I think a lot of dealers might be missing is that there's vendors that are still growing out retargeting audiences of people visiting your website that they could be now using for a different dealership. And it's slowing your website 100%. Down and these other things. But for somebody to be sitting in your like your shoes that understands it, that can look at it and be like, okay, step one, I'm going to do on my job. Like, this is what I would do if I started working as a marketing director at a dealer, or doing anything at a dealership, is like, let me clean up stuff on the website really quick. Like, it's going to take me a minute to figure out whose tags, and maybe I'll remove the wrong tag and somebody's going to be like, oh, our system broke. We'll put it back in, but let's clean all this old junk out. So we're starting with a good foundation of our website and not getting hijacked. Our traffic's not getting hijacked by a competitor, at least.
Correct. And I think that's where we have to start. And especially if your website's been around more than 3 years, I think it starts with a cleanup, kind of little spring cleaning here, summer cleaning, and then customizing and adjusting for mobile.
Yeah. Well, Jarrod, I've kept you for about an hour, which is about 45 minutes longer than I was thinking we were going to talk. But I think you're an interesting dude. And how do people connect with you? What's a good way to follow you? LinkedIn?
Follow me on LinkedIn. You guys can find me on LinkedIn.
Jarrod Kilway.
Social. Yep. Social. Find me on Facebook, Instagram. You'll probably get some pictures of all my kids, my dogs, but there's also some nugget drops I do in there too. But
Nice.
also just reach out to call or email. I mean, it's out there. If you can find it, get a hold of me.
Yes. And okay, let's say this. Your house is on fire and you can only save one pair of shoes. What pair of shoes you're gonna grab?
Oh, that's a tough one, considering I have
Yeah, I knew I
about
was gonna stump you.
200 over here. It would be the Jordan 1 Air Dior lows for sure.
Jordan 1 Air Dior.
Yeah.
They did a collab with Dior.
Don't look them up. They're expensive.
You inspired me. I put on my I bought some over COVID. I bought a couple pairs just looking for meaning in life, and I thought Jordans were going to fill it. These are good for when I set picks out there at the basketball court.
Oh, they're the most comfortable things in the world.
All right, brother. Hey, man. Well, thank you. It's been a treat to talk with you, man.
It's always great.
I look forward to having you in my Rolodex for somebody doing cool stuff and just keeping a finger on the pulse of what you're up to.
And let's just keep collabing together to figure out how we can make this industry better and constantly change it. So
let's do it.
Someday it makes it easier for our friends and our family who are in the market but not in auto. They can have an easier buying experience, and we can have a little feather in our cap saying, hey, we caused some of this effect. So
yeah, we're doing good. All right, brother. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Awesome.